Well, hello, welcome. It is the Nisha Jackson Show. Before we get started, and this is a good one, you want to make sure that you're taking notes.
Yes, I was thinking the same thing. I'm taking notes today.
Yeah, take notes, get ready. Before you also do that, make sure you hit the subscribe button, the notification button, so you don't miss any of the future Nisha Jackson shows. Also, NishaJackson.com, OnePeakMedical.com. And now I'm done. I'm going to pretty much just take notes, listen, and watch the show. And Nisha, you take over, would you please?
I will. We have with us today a mushroom expert, and that is not me. I know a little bit enough to know I want to take them, but we have the mushroom expert on the show today. His name is Jeff Chilton, and he was raised in the Pacific Northwest. He studied mycology at University of Washington in the late 60s, and he started working on a commercial mushroom farm, believe it, all the way back in 1973. You've been doing mushrooms for a long time, Jeff.
I have indeed.
Oh my gosh. So during the next 10 years, you became a production manager of a mushroom cultivation. You've cultivated over 2 million, probably more than that now, pounds of mushrooms every year, it sounds like. Whoa.
Correct.
Anyway, what we're going to be talking about today is we're talking about the medicinal benefits of mushrooms. And I think that's a very important subject to be talking about today, because everybody's looking for something that will enhance their immune system, will help keep them from getting sick, may enhance how they feel on a day-to-day basis, may help with autoimmune disorders. So I want to talk about your history of mushrooms. You know, this is a short show. It's 15 to 20 minutes. We got lots of questions, and we need answers about mushrooms. So let's just get right to it and talk about what are the medical benefits of mushrooms.
Well, mushrooms actually have this compound in their cell walls called beta-glucans, makes up 50% of their cell walls. And beta-glucans, are thousands of papers, scientific papers written about beta-glucans and how they can activate our immune system. So I like to look at mushrooms as immune system potentiators. So what happens is we actually have receptor sites for beta-glucans. When we eat mushrooms or supplement with them, those beta-glucans will hit those receptor sites, and that will potentiate or stimulate the production of immune cells, cytokines. So the mushroom, when we're using it, is there in a sense in the background. It's almost like, you think of taking a vitamin or something. That's what we're doing when we're eating mushrooms or taking mushroom supplements. We are putting them in the background with these beta-glucans, and as we need them, when we have these challenges from different types of illnesses, whether it's viral or bacterial or what have you, they're there, ready to act. And to me, look, I look at them kind of as the forgotten food and the missing dietary link.
Right. So what kind of mushrooms are we talking about? There's so many different types. And how would you suggest that people take them? Should they take them in their raw form? Should they cook them? Should they give different types of mushrooms? What about in a capsule? What is the best way to take mushrooms, and what type?
Well, first of all, let me just say this. I think people need to put mushrooms into their diet because, look, the foundation of our health is the diet. So right. The first thing you should do is incorporate them into your diet. And there are some fantastic edible mushrooms in our marketplaces that are also medicinal. And Nisha, listen, don't we want food as medicine? Isn't that what we're looking for?
100%.
So first of all, my favorite mushroom, and an absolutely delicious mushroom, is the Shiitake mushroom.
Love them.
And Shiitake is out there in most markets today, almost anywhere you go, unless you're really out in the countryside. Otherwise, Shiitake mushrooms are there. They're delicious. Get them. There's other mushrooms like oyster mushrooms, maitake mushrooms, even the button mushroom, which everybody thinks, oh, it's so common and all the rest, that also has medicinal properties. And also we're going to get those benefits when we're eating it. One of the things about mushrooms too that is really cool, they are loaded with fiber. So they're also acting as a prebiotic for us. They're feeding our microbiome, and a lot of people are not getting enough fiber into their diet. In fact, I spoke to someone the other day and they don't even eat vegetables. And I'm like, what? How do you live without vegetables and all the fiber they're giving us?
I just gave a lecture to all of our medical providers this last weekend, and I was talking about gut health. And I really believe that's the big missing link today with everybody's concern about illness and the disaster we've been through this last 2 years is nobody's really paying attention to the gut. And we should be paying attention to the gut. US is one of the countries most at risk for the whole COVID issue in the last 2 years. And if we would start protecting our gut, maybe we would have more protection against illness, but nobody really thinks about the gut being the origination of the immune system. So one of the reasons why the US is so at risk for infection, especially with COVID, is because we don't have enough fiber in our diet. So you're right, fiber is really important for good gut health.
And I couldn't agree with you more. And one of the things that's been missing in this whole period is from the very beginning, they should have gone and going, okay, look, we need everybody to start taking large amounts of vitamin D. We need to look at the diet. We need to look at prevention here. What is it about the health of people in the United States? And when you think of all the processed foods that everybody is eating instead of having a good diet. I mean, that's what nobody was talking about when that should have been the very start and the foundation of how they looked at this whole pandemic is how can we prevent this? How can we keep people healthier so that they don't fall prey to this?
Yeah. Okay. So let's go back to the basics. What are the top 5 important things that mushrooms can do for your health? Top 5.
Okay, top 5. Well, number 1 for sure is immunological potentiation. And that will be there with almost every one of the what we would call medicinal mushrooms, and some of the edibles that are not.
Let's don't use complicated words because you're super smart. Let's use improve your what instead of immune. Let's say it so people can understand. What are you talking about when you say that for the immune system?
Okay, when I say that, I would just say improve your overall well-being. For example, you won't necessarily get as many colds. You won't necessarily get the flu. And look, they're not a panacea. You, if you're a smoker and you have all these other things you're doing, that's not necessarily going to be as helpful as it could be. But if you are taking them, it will be there helping you.
So they're good. They're good protectors. Okay. What's the second? What about energy? Does it help your energy if you take mushrooms?
Well, there are certain mushrooms like cordyceps that have shown to basically help with energy and help with fatigue, and have been used traditionally when people are trying to come out of a long illness and they just can't make it the last mile, so to speak. They just kind of weak and feel fatigued. Cordyceps is a mushroom that will do this. Reishi is a mushroom that will help you with liver function, help you with purifying the blood through keeping your liver healthy. So that's one. There's another mushroom out there called lion's mane, and lion's mane is getting a lot of good press, and there's a lot of research that shows that it gives us benefits for our mind. So they're looking at it in terms of not just memory, but also for things like they've got some clinical trials they've done with dementia and Alzheimer that are promising. don't look at any of these things as like, oh yeah, that's going to cure this or cure that. But this is very promising work, and some of the clinical trials are very positive. So cognitive health as well. So, there's a lot of different benefits that they can bring us. Also, modulating our glucose levels. I mean, one of the things about mushrooms is they have a compound in there. Now, they're mostly carbohydrates, but one of those carbohydrates is what's called mannitol, which is a very slow digesting carbohydrate. Mushrooms do not have starch.
Right.
So you're not going to get those ups and downs that you will with a lot of starchy foods. This is something that is going to digest very slowly, which is really what we're looking for, right? Things that just stay and keep us like this instead of like that.
Right. So going back to the prebiotic, which is really good for the use of the microbiome. And for people who don't know what microbiome is, it's keeping all of the good bacteria in your gut present and in the right balance. Correct. So that's obviously another important part. What about how you take them? Like if obviously you just talked about several mushrooms we can buy in the grocery store. What are other ways that you can, what are some ways that you can prepare them? Does it hurt the mushroom, medicinal benefits of the mushroom by cooking them?
Actually, no. In fact, you should cook them. But here's a tip. Do not cook them on a low heat, because what happens is, look, mushrooms, like most vegetables, 90% water. You cook them on a low heat, all the water comes out. The next thing you know, you have them floating in a puddle of water. And then you wonder why your children are always saying, oh, those mushrooms are so slimy. They're terrible, right? No, you want to cook them on a high heat. I like to brown them, cut them about 1/4 of an inch thick, high heat, brown both sides if you can. I like to cook them a little longer than normal. Remember, they will shrink. So you'll think you've got a lot in there, and you'll look back, turn around, and look back, and it's half as many. So they will shrink. So high heat when you're frying them, but look, they're so versatile. You can put them in anything: stews, soups, omelets, stir fries, you name it. You can put them in into very versatile food.
Right. Okay, I want to talk about the reishi mushrooms for the liver, because fatty liver is a huge problem today. Fatty liver, and also people trying to get their gut back into balance, wondering why they're bloated, why they can't lose weight, why they're tired all the time, and the connection between, we'll call it leaky gut or gut issues, and fatty liver, they're just combined so nicely, unfortunately. So let's talk about mushrooms that might support the liver, and how can you take that kind of a mushroom? Would you take it in a supplement form?
Well, have you ever tasted reishi mushroom?
No, I haven't. I don't even know where you would even buy it.
Well,
I've taken it in a supplement form, but not in a
right. You'll never eat it, because it would be like chewing on a piece of wood. It's a very woody mushroom. So it's normally consumed in a tea. That's how they do it, or else they would be extracted into a supplement product. So that's how you take reishi, because the bitterness is something that's one of the attributes of the reishi mushroom. So if you happen to have a supplement that's a reishi mushroom supplement, pour it out of the capsule and just taste it. If it's not bitter, you'd better be taking that back to the store and asking them what they sold you, because a reishi mushroom is bitter. And it's kind of interesting too that bitters are something that have been taken out of our diet, and everything is sweet. Right. Or salty, and bitters are something that are very important for our gut and our digestion, and we don't have many of those in our diet anymore. So in a sense, that reishi mushroom, drink that tea, and what I do with it is I have a reishi mushroom powdered extract. I just stir it into my coffee in the morning, and I'm a coffee drinker. I love my coffee. It just gives it another bitter note. But otherwise, a lot of people will just take it in a capsule, and that's fine too.
Okay. So let's talk about your nutritional organic mushroom extracts that you have, because I think people have probably heard about mushrooms that listen to the show in the past. maybe the show is really kind of reigniting all of that information they have about the benefits of mushrooms. So tell us a little bit about your company and the mushroom extracts that you use.
Well, if you just take a mushroom powder, for example, well, what happens is let's say the dose is 1,000 milligrams. 2 capsules, 500 milligrams each. Well, that's no different than taking, let's just say, 10 milligrams of fresh mushrooms, or 10 grams of fresh mushrooms. That's not very much. So we will take a lot more. We'll extract them. So when you're getting this extract, you will be getting a lot more of those mushrooms in that 1,000 milligrams of extract than you would if it's just a straight powder. One medium-sized button mushroom weighs 40 grams.
Oh, wow.
Think of that, 40 grams. That's maybe a little bit less than 2 ounces or an ounce and a half or something like that. I can sit down and I can eat 100 to 200 grams of fresh mushrooms without even blinking. I mean, so that's the thing. One of the things about supplement products, Nisha, is that a lot of them are just either the ground up herb or they're telling you to take too little and it's not going to do you any benefits. And that's really a huge issue for me in the supplement industry. You have to be able to take enough of that. And what they do is like, here's 60 capsules, take 2 a day. Oh, that's a month's supply. How convenient, and they say it's kind of like, a 140-pound person should take the same as a 250-pound person, 2 capsules a day. Really?
So
no.
Do you have a sample of what your extracts look like? Do they come in tinctures? Do they come in powders?
Our extracts are all powders.
Okay.
They're all powders. Yeah.
You're saying the powders could be used in a shake that you're making for the day or your coffee. Is that
we sell them in either a pouch, bulk in a pouch, or we also have them in capsules. For example, people don't want to necessarily use that bitter reishi and put it into their smoothie and go, this doesn't taste good. Right. So we sell it both. And look, my company, Nammex, is a supplier of bulk powders to other companies in the industry. We're a raw material supplier. We do have a retail side, which sells them primarily on the internet. But yeah, it's like either a bulk powder, which perfect for a smoothie. And a lot of these mushroom extracts taste really good, like our shiitake or the lion's mane or the maitake. They're tasty. They're really great. I mean, you could shake them right onto something that you're making food-wise, and it would enhance the flavor.
Yeah, I like that idea. That's a great idea, especially if, over vegetables or something, if it also tasted good. So are the extracts that you have, the powders, are they a combination of mushrooms, or do you order a specific type and have that they're all separated out and you can mix them at your leisure, or how does that work?
Well, you know what, in terms of the retail side, we mostly sell them as an individual mushroom species, but we do have one product that has 5 species put together. And look, there's a lot of what you'd call combination products on the market, right? And in a way, it's like there's always a kind of a race to see who can put more of this into one product. And it's just like, the more you put into these things, what I call kitchen sink products, the less of a lot of the compounds or herbs that you really want you get. So I look at, if you're going to get a combo product for a mushroom, if it's a supplement, 5 max. Anything more than that, all they're doing is adding one, and the actual real prime ones, they're taking some away. So those, just stay away from those.
Right. Yeah, no, that's good advice. Well, you've talked a little bit about the company and the extracts of the mushrooms. How would people go and buy extracts if they want to just try them, maybe for a couple of months, to get more fiber in their diet, maybe enhance their immune system, talk about the fatty liver, the increased energy with the cordyceps? mushroom. What is a way that people can actually go online and look at your product?
Well, I mean, they certainly can come to our website, but one of the things I think is really important, and that is, in the herbal markets, whether it's mushrooms or other supplement categories, there are certain products you have to be very careful with. And, it's difficult. You go into a store and there are like 100 different brands and you're just like, what should I buy here? Okay. There are products out there that are not actually made from the mushroom. They're made from the roots, and it's called mycelium. And unfortunately, when they grow that mycelium, they will put it on grain, sterilized grain. At the end of the process, they'll grind it all up, and then they'll sell it to you as mushroom. And those products are mostly starch. So you have to be very careful. When you're buying a mushroom supplement, for example, you should look, does it say anything about the amount of beta glucans in there? That's super important. The other thing too, does it say mycelium? I would stay away from those products. And those products, oftentimes, if you look in the other ingredients, it will say myceliated oats, myceliated rice, or something. You want to be paying for rice? Come on. You're buying that product because on the front label it says reishi mushroom, shiitake mushroom or something, but that's not what you're getting. So you have to be very, very conscious of that when you go in looking for a supplement. Certainly much easier if you're looking at the actual mushroom, fresh mushroom there, like the shiitake mushrooms, no problem, right?
Well, Jeff, I'm going to interrupt you because we're out of time, but your information was great. I love mushrooms. I totally endorse it with my patients. Many of our medical providers talk about the benefits of mushrooms to the immune system, to gut health. So we talked about that. The website is Nammex, N as in Nisha, A-M-M, Mary, E-X, Nammex.com. C-O-M, Nammex.com. You can go check out those mushrooms.
And the actual site for the internet, if you want to get the retail side of it, it's realmushrooms.com.
Oh, that's easy. Realmushrooms.com. All right. Well, Jeff, you've been great information. You've had great information for us today. I appreciate you taking the time. It's always good to get information out to our listeners about how to use food to stay healthy or get healthy, because I think that's so important to just keep remembering food is medicine.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. And Nisha, thank you so much for having me on. It's been a pleasure to speak with you today.
Absolutely. Have a great day, Jeff.
You too.
Okay, well, that was pretty good. So if you want to learn more about the mushrooms, the website's right there. And, of course, NishaJackson.com. You want to go there. OnePeakMedical.com. And TakeBrandX.com. Anything else you want to wrap it up with? Anything else? Or you got it?
No, I'm just kind of excited about the mushrooms. It's been about a year since I've been off of them. And I really think for liver health and gut health, that needs to be part of the diet. And what a great idea to have them in a powder form instead of a stinking capsule that you can just sprinkle on your food, your salads or whatever. It's such a great idea.
So I'm going to stock up on cream of mushroom soup from Campbell's and I'll be good. Probably.
Maybe that works too, but you're going to get a lot of sodium. Okay. I loved what he said about making sure you're getting the right type, because how many times, Rusty, do people go and get a supplement because they read, whatever, carnitine's great for whatever, and then they take a supplement kind of blindly, but it's not even the right amount to do anything for you. So I appreciated that information that he had.
Absolutely. All right, great show. We got more. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and the notification button so you don't miss any Nisha Jackson Show. For Nisha Jackson, I'm Rusty Humphries, and this is the Nisha Jackson Show.